Oh, shit. Hi, welcome everyone. It's time for First Fridays, April 1st. No fooling around here. We are outside. I'm outside. Maybe you're not outside. And I'm outside just as the rain really starts to come down. Ooh, fingers crossed that my setup is solid rain-wise. Otherwise, you'll go traveling with me back into my household. So welcome everybody. Welcome as everybody comes in. Yay, I love that you guys got the Zoom routine down. Yes, please put in the chat where you're joining from. I love to scroll back after these sessions and look and see where everyone is kind of zooming in from. I'm going to give folks a few minutes here to get in and probably start at around 5 after. So please drop in the chat where you're from, maybe what the weather's like. I'm here in northern Vermont and it's 40 degrees, which is kind of exciting. And it's raining. There's a light rain outside, but I was so determined to do this outside today that I've set things up, hopefully, fingers crossed, in a way that I'll be able to stay with you outdoors the whole time. That's my goal, whole time outside. Each time I do this, I feel like this is like, and I'm gonna date myself here. I feel like this is romper room because I can see your names and I'm like, oh, and there's Joanne from, and I can't see where Joanne is from now. There we go. But Christine from West Paulet, looking through the little lens at everybody who's joining us today, just like when I used to watch Romper Room when I was a kid. Here we go. Welcome everyone to First Friday's live slow birding guided session. I'm really glad you're all here. We're gonna get started in just a moment. I like to give people about 5 minutes or so to come in. So if you feel like you're coming in late, just check that clock and see if it's at about 5 after. Sometimes during these sessions, I'm with it enough that I can keep admitting people. Sometimes I'm not, but don't worry, the video, I do record all of these, so they're gonna end up on my YouTube page. And I post them on the Bird Diva Facebook page as well. So that's a good way to catch up if you miss a session. I got my hot tea. I got some peppermint tea today, so I'm all warm while I'm out here. I am dressed for the weather, so there's no bad weather, there's just bad clothing. And I have all my rain gear on and a couple of fleece layers here and there. All right, I'm gonna look at the chat here now that the admission thing is slowly rolling now and see where everybody's from. We've got, oh, Tom from Illinois. That's awesome. Great. All my peeps from Vermont. Hi, you guys. Northfield. Ooh, there goes a crow overhead. Fairfield, Peterborough, New Hampshire. Oh, sunny weather in California. Lucky you. That's so great. Cloudy and wet. Hi, crow. Good to hear from you. See crows calling in. Make sure you mute yourself so that you don't kind of take over the screen. That helps me kind of fine tune the video so that the video is whatever I need to show you today. And then me, please keep your chat box open. I'm in Pennsylvania, West Pollitt, Lewisburg, PA, West Gover. Where are my friends from South Africa? Are you guys here today? I'm not finding you yet. I'm hoping you're here. Elmore, Vermont. Great. Well, it's raining a little bit, so I have things set up, and I'm hoping I'll be able to stay outside the whole time. If not, I will pick up the laptop and head indoors if it starts to rain sideways. But I think I've got things set up really well. And we're at 5 after, so I'm going to rearrange my screen really quick here so I can see everyone and officially welcome you to April's First Friday Slow Birding session. This is my 4th slow birding guided session that I've done this year. It's been really a lot of fun to join people on a regular basis on Friday to kind of deepen our slow birding practice. If this is your first time, slow birding is a program that I do that kind of releases you from some of the trappings of traditional birding of listing and chasing, and really slows you down into kind of being in place and being with the birds. I'm discovering it's a more mindful approach. It's really helped me when I'm feeling stressed as well. So my connection with birds is helping me in that way. And I'm sure some of you have discovered that as well from your practices. So typically what we do is I give a little introduction. I share a quote with you. And then we get into some activities that you can do on your sit spot. And that's kind of where I am right now. I'm on my sit spot in my backyard. My house is like literally right there. So one of the things I love about a good sit spot is that it's close by and it's easy to get to. And this one is great because it's like right outside my door. My feeders are nearby. Yeah, we've got pretty good habitat. We keep trying to create good habitat for the birds to be here. So wherever you are today, I invite you to participate. The activities that I have planned are things that you can do right inside your home, or feel free to throw the window open or step outside. We're going to do a little 10-minute session where you can turn off your screen and go off on your own and take some of the prompts that I've given you to your own quiet space. And then I'll call everybody back in to share what they're noticing. So things you might want to have with you when you go out on your sit spot or when you join me for First Fridays. One is that comfy place to sit. You might want to have a journal and a pencil. I've got my Write in the Rain journal here, my little notebook that's weatherproof and coffee proof for when I spill my coffee on it. A hot drink is nice if you're still in those latitudes where it's chilly, it's damp and cold here today. So I have peppermint tea. And today we're gonna focus on listening. Last month, and you can hear my dog barking now and the neighbor's dog barking now. We're going to talk a little bit today about how to deal with some of those things when you are trying to find quiet space to listen and connect with birds. But if you remember back to last month, if you joined me, last month we talked about cultivating curiosity using the prompt, I wonder. And I had asked you during the 10-minute session to sit with that prompt and maybe come back with 3 things that you were wondering about. And this was really about kind of opening our mind up to things other than identifying birds and kind of connecting with the land and the birds and maybe even yourself in a different way through this practice of being outdoors and trying to develop these relationships with the birds around us. So I want you to hold on to I wonder. That might be something that you jot down in your journal for today, but we are going to be fine tuning our ears. One of the things that I discovered over my time as a birder and interacting with other birders is it's really hard to describe what we're listening to and to learn how to listen. I think a couple of things kind of get us hung up. Sometimes we're listening in order to identify birds and not just listening to sounds and vocalizations. And the other piece is that we don't always have a language. There goes Crow. We don't always have a language for describing what we hear. And oftentimes our perception of what we hear is different than other people's perceptions. So finding some common language is really good. Staying curious and listening beyond identification. But I think the most important thing is really developing a deeper practice of listening. And that's what I want to do with you today, is give you some different activities that you can do to do that. So I'm going to share my screen here. If I can figure out how to do that again. Let's see. I'm going to exit this mode so I can get my shared screen. And I want to share a quote with you. That's from, here we go. We'll go back. There we go. I got the quote. We got it now. So I want to share this quote with you. This is from a book called Deep Listening, a Composer's Sound Practice. It's by Pauline Oliveros. She was an American composer and performer, and she was known for conceiving a unique, meditative, improvisational approach to music called deep listening. And she developed this whole practice and she taught courses about it. And what I love is that as I started to think about how can we help each other listen in a deeper way, I started to look at things like acoustic ecology, the study of sound within environments. And that led me to folks like Bernie Krause and R. Murray Schafer and Pauline Oliveros. And so Pauline, in her book, she writes, deep listening is a practice that's intended to heighten and expand consciousness of sound in as many dimensions of awareness and attentional dynamics as humanly possible. Such expansion means, all right, let's try this again. I just froze. All right. So let's try this again. I'm going to go back. I was talking a little bit about shifting our practice so that we can listen in a deeper way. And I was sharing this quote from Pauline Oliveros' work. And she says, deep listening is a practice that's intended to heighten and expand consciousness of sound in as many dimensions of awareness and attentional dynamics as humanly possible. Such expansion means that one is connected to the whole of the environment and beyond. And so when I started to think about how can I help people listen to birds in a different way, I really had to back up and think about how do we listen, right? We can hear, we can actively engage in hearing, right? Using our ears, but listening is really going this one step further to kind of interpret what we're hearing, make sense of it, and then kind of personalize it in a way. So today what we're going to try and do, so fingers crossed that I stay with you. Thank you all for hanging in there and staying with me. We are going to do two things. So the first one we're going to do together. And then the second one we're going to do in that 10-minute format where you can turn off your screen and go away for a little bit and then come back. And I'll sit and kind of sportscast what I'm experiencing with the prompt that I send you away with. Okay, so the first one, you could do wherever you are. This comes from an acoustic ecologist. His name is R. Murray Schafer. He actually passed away, I believe, in 2020 or 2021. It was either last year or the year before during the pandemic. And he really studied sound in a different way, much like Pauline did, and was a composer as well. He did something called ear cleaning, and it's something I try to do each time I go out. It's another way to kind of get rooted and ground ourselves in the place that we're in. and tie us into what we're listening. So here's what I want you to try to do. And you can do this if you're inside or outside, it works anywhere. And I challenge you to try it in some different places, from urban environments to indoors, to maybe, I don't know, when you're in the car, even you could see what this feels like. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to sit. I'm like going to pop my ears a little bit. I'm going to get a little bit comfortable. And you can close your eyes if you like. Sometimes that helps kind of concentrate that sense in listening. Couple deep breaths and just relax your shoulders. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. I'm smiling because I can hear my chickadee friends above my head. And I want you to let all sounds in. And I want you to extend your listening so that you're just hearing everything without judgment. Even the dogs barking, even the neighbor shutting the car door next door. Just let everything come in. Okay. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to push our awareness out in different directions. So I think the easiest one to do first is to push listening out in front of us. How far away can you hear? Maybe you're measuring distance by the rooms in your house or the rooms in your office. For me, since I'm outdoors, I'm like, oh, that's like a street over, 2 streets over. All right, now we're going to try something different. I want to see if you can listen to one side or the other. So to the left, I'm going to try to push my awareness out to the left. And then push out behind you. Can you listen behind you without turning? And maybe if you're familiar with what might be behind you, like you're picturing those things in your mind as you try to push your awareness out there. And then come around to the right. All right. And now up above your head, like you had a big giant ear on your head, and you're going to listen upwards. You can cheat a little bit and maybe like stretch your neck upwards. All right, and now down, like down below your feet, below the floor. How far down can you go? Does it just stop? Okay. And then finally, well, let's finish with something that you can share. We'll come back to all sounds in. I'm going to ask you to notice 2 things. What's the closest sound that you can hear? And what's the one that is the furthest away? And you can put those in the chat. What's the one that's, I'm laughing because I can hear. So there's a preschool about a block away and a ball court. Stomach growling, yay, Martha. Right, it's right at lunchtime. Oh, Helen says the rain is what I'm hearing. Right, kitchen noises are good. Like when I do this inside, ooh, and here comes the rain. All right. I think the closest noise I can hear is the rain hitting the back of my jacket. So I'm gonna come in a little bit closer to you all. Leaf blower a block away, good. Keep your chat open and you can look at all the responses from different people. Janet says the dishwasher and the wind. Closest, my sister walking in. Oh, good. Quietness of the house, traffic across the river to the right and the left. Good. I'm getting a little splash here. I'm gonna put I have a second rain jacket. I'm gonna try to prop over my laptop. And then this one here. Ooh, you guys. I'm curious, can you hear the rain at my house? Awesome. Okay. So I love this ear cleaning exercise. You heard a song sparrow at my house. Yes, yes, there is song sparrows in my yard. It's so great. And I have little chips from Junkos over here. Good, good. So ear cleaning is a really awesome exercise. Oh, and Suzanne, closest is right ear tinnitus. I developed tinnitus after I got COVID. I don't know if the two are connected, but I had never noticed it before until after COVID. And I'm struggling with that too. I think some of these exercises can actually help because they're a way to learn how to kind of push certain sounds into the background. I think of where I live as there's a highway nearby here. And sometimes I get really frustrated. Darn, I live near the highway and I can't hear what I want to hear, right? But what I've learned through the ear cleaning and some other practices is that I can suppress that sound in my mind and I can allow my awareness almost to grab and allow other sounds to come out more. So really interesting kind of learning how to balance to live with tinnitus. Super. Oh, Cynthia, that's good to hear. Doesn't seem to interfere with my hearing of other subtle sounds. Good, good. All right. So here's what I'd like to do. I would like to introduce you to a couple of other words. So what I noticed in the chat, people were talking about all different kinds of sounds. And I was just talking about how we can learn how to push some sounds into the forefront of our awareness and push others back. There goes my rain jacket over my computer. And the other thing that can also help with this is having words for how we categorize sound. And so when I took a really cool course with Iowa, a college out in Iowa, the first summer of the pandemic. And it was an acoustic ecology class. And they taught us about these three words: biophony, geophony, and anthrophony. So these are three words that can help us kind of categorize different types of sound that we're hearing. So biophony is living sounds, right? Sounds that come from birds and animals, right? That red-breasted nuthatch that Cynthia is hearing, and some of these other birds, like the song sparrow, right? So biophony, okay, frogs would be another thing. I think of spring peepers right now, crickets, grasshoppers, so biophony. Geophony are those kind of like land earth sounds. I think of them as like the brook that's right near my house, or the wind coming through the trees and different tree types too, right? The wind sounds differently based on that. Pebbles, right? Like waves crashing on the shore and the pebbles moving against each other. So biophony, geophony, and then the last one is anthrophony. And I can never quite say that right. Anthrophony. It's got a lot of sounds in it. So anthrophony are those sounds that are created by people, right? So we have like the dump truck or the highway or the leaf blower that somebody mentioned, okay? So for our 10 minutes, you can walk away from the computer, you can turn your screen off, okay? I want you to try in your own space to try that ear cleaning again. I want you to let all the sounds in and then just start jotting down some of the sounds that you hear. If you don't know the name of them, maybe describe them or maybe try to draw them, sketch them. That's a whole other layer to kind of play around with. But I want you to allow yourself to accept each sound and then put it in one of these categories. And it's okay. That way we can kind of say, okay, that's the highway sound, anthrophony. That's going to go here. And I want to listen. I want to allow that biophony to come in a little bit more. When we do this at our sit spot that we go to over and over again, we kind of come up with that soundscape expectation that we have, right? The expectation for my soundscape in my yard is kind of, I've got the brook. I typically have highway sound. I have neighborhood sounds from people because I'm in the city. And then I have the biophony, which is what I get really jazzed and excited about. So Sabrina asked a question in the chat, would people talking be like anthrophony or biophony? Ooh, I will let you think about that. Sometimes I think people label anthrophony as like bad or negative sounds. And the biophony is the stuff that we really want to hear, right? We're out there, we're trying to connect with nature. We want all the natural sounds. Do we need those labels? I think that's kind of an interesting thing to think about, Sabrina. I'm going to let you put people talking where you want to and think about that some more. Okay, it's 12:30. So we're going to do 10 minutes. You can take your sound off or leave it on. I'm going to sit here, and what I tend to do is I tend to sportscast what I'm listening to and what I'm hearing. So feel free to listen or feel free to mute me. That's okay too. And we'll come back at 12:41 and we'll share what we're experiencing. All right, I'm gonna take a sip of tea to start. I like to grab some metadata in my journal. So I'm going to write down the date and the time that I'm hanging out at my sit spot and the temperature, and that it's a light rain and cloudy. It's about 40 degrees. Backyard. I feel like everything's gotten really quiet at my house. And I'm wondering if that's because the rain was really heavy, like about 60 seconds ago, and all the birds quieted down, and the neighborhood quieted down. So I'm gonna wonder about that. Write that down.
That's what I'll do
Close
today.
my eyes and listen, kind of tip my head, kind of like robins do. Tip my head and listen in different directions. Okay, so I have a lot. I'm gonna make 3 columns. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do biophony, geophony. I'm not writing the whole word. I'm like shortening it. So I got a set of columns in my journal there. There's a lot of geophony right now, so there's drips, lots of drips, lots of different kinds of drips. Drips off the umbrella that I have over my head. Ooh, and the motorcycles on the highway. That's a sign of spring, right? Everybody with their motorcycles out. I gotta put that in anthrophony. Drips, that's kind of cool. So the drips off the umbrella are different than the drips off of the roof that are hitting the porch. Oh, here comes, the birds are coming back in to the soundscape. If you could write about your soundscape, would you include in that description? Huh. So I have, right, the brook and the highway and the neighborhood. And right now, as we move into spring, that's cardinal out there. Okay. And maybe I don't know that that's northern cardinal, and I'm gonna be like, that's the pew, pew, pew bird. I'm gonna make up words for it, nonsense words, but they work to help me remember. Okay, this song sparrow that's posted up in my neighbor's yard, that's over that way, just started to sing again. Okay, so song sparrow. And I can hear jays, like maybe other side of the house, a road over. I can hear jays, a couple of jays. And the brook is like that constant, unchanging piece in the soundscape that is just always there. It's like a layer, right? That goes under Gia. There we go. So now that sounds like a big truck on the highway. How do we know that's a big truck? Because it sounds like a big truck. I know what a big truck sounds like on the highway. When I took my acoustic ecology class, there was a guy in the class who worked on a farm, and he talked about how he could identify different motor type just by sound. I don't know enough to tell you what different kinds of motors he could identify, but that's how fine-tuned his listening was. It's kind of like sitting here listening to different drips as the rain subsides. You know, that can help when you start to try to listen to individual birds. Like I think of this song sparrow that's singing in my neighbor's yard. On cue. Thank you. Thank you, song sparrow. When you listen more acutely, more deeply, you'll be able to start to hear individual song sparrows and get to know them. Ooh, there's crow. Okay, I gotta write crow down. But each song sparrow has a little twist on their vocalization so that they stand out. So American crow just came in and took a really nice like sentinel position on one of the really tall pines in my neighborhood here. I gotta put my glasses on so I can see. Good. Take a look in the chat because other people are chiming in with things that they're hearing, they're listening to. This is just, oh, and I can hear the train in the background. Oh. So I live in St. Albans City, which is northern Vermont, near Lake Champlain, near the Canadian border. And we're also known as the Rail City. And the rail yard is probably like 6 or 8 blocks the other side of town. And I can hear a train. Okay, I'm gonna put that down too. What I love about spring here in the northern latitudes too, and I realize that sometimes I have folks that are coming from different hemispheres, like my friends in New Zealand and South Africa who have been joining me from time to time right here in North America, right? We're in the midst of spring migration. So the soundscape is really shifting right now and changing. Like this one song sparrow, there'll be like 3 or 4 here over the next couple weeks that come in and establish a territory and kind of settle in. All right, we are at 12:41. Welcome back, everybody. Great job listening. I find that when I listen, everything gets softer. My voice is softer. The way I feel is softer. It just puts me in this really kind of mellow place. So let's share what we heard. I'm gonna try to scroll back up here because you're all dropping stuff in the chat. This is really great. Thank you so much for sticking with me through all the glitches so we could get to this part. All right, so Joanne says her soundscape is total nature as she lives in a rural area in the wood. Birds, dove, jay, chickadees, nuthatches, and the brook flowing into the pond. Biophony Ann says, Biophony singing Buick's Wren, wings, yay. Okay, I'm gonna do jazz hands for that. Wings of oak titmouse, barking dog, Junko's repetitive call, caw of a crow, coo of a modo. I feel like this is like a poem, Anne, just reading it out loud. Quiet call of chickadee, lesser goldfinch call, house finch singing, and Anthrophony, the mail truck working its way down the street. Ooh, there goes the train. I can really hear the train at my house right now. Construction noises from a neighbor wishing cars on the freeway. I'm gonna scroll down some more. Keep going, you guys. Good job. You can hear how high the brook is. Ooh, I love that. Right? I was talking about the different drip sounds, right? And I think our brook is pretty full right now too. So how do those sounds speak to you after changes in the weather, changes in season, all of that? I love that. Diaphony, black-throated sparrows, northern rough-winged swallow, white-winged doves. Oop, and my thing just kicked me down. Holly, I lost. There you are. There you are. I found it again. Cactus wren. Oh, Peroxilla. Car's distant motor. Can you guys hear the train through my computer from my house? I'm curious.
No.
No? Okay. I never, Pat, I can hear you. You're unmuted. Oh, some people can hear the train. Good. I mean, that's blocks away. That's great. There was something else. Somebody was typing that I was like, okay, Helen says, I never knew how many different backup beeps different trucks and cars make. I heard at least 5 types. So this is what I mean about deeper listening and building a practice of listening to help you fine tune your ears. If we think about when we want to learn birds and we want to connect with them and we want to know them and build our relationships with them, right? We go right into this place of wanting to identify by using sound. And it's hard. Learning how to bird by ear is very hard. So I think taking some time to develop a practice of listening can help you then get where you want to get to with birds. So, like we were talking about with song sparrow, hearing those different voices. Meredith says, do you mean that each song sparrow has a different voice or each type of song sparrow? So each individual will take the song sparrow vocalization that they use to establish a territory and to attract a mate, and they'll tweak it just a little bit so that they stand out to the females, so that they let each other know that this is their space, that's that individual space. You can actually learn to kind of find those little distinctions. It's really kind of fun. Super. All right. Well, I am going to wrap up today with everybody. I want to just thank you all for sticking with me through, there goes the train again, through all the little glitches of me bopping in and out there with the, my feed. Let me share my screen one more time here. Feel free to reach out to me. Bird Diva has a Facebook page. You can come and share your observations there, ask your questions when you like. You can find me on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. I often share stories of my sit spot adventures and my mobile sit spot adventures as well. And I have 2 other things to share with you. One, look at this. My proof just came in today for a very special new little notebook journal that I'm working with Lifeless Notebooks on. This is Song Sparrow. Yeah, look at that. I know it's backwards, but this is the new slow birding notebook that I'm going to have available for folks. It's really cool. It's tiny. You can slip it right in your back pocket. It's got a little cheat sheet of bird parts in the back as well. So this proof just came in the mail today. I'm excited to say yes to it and get it out there to all of you. And the other thing I want to let you know is that I just updated my calendar, and wow, there's a lot of stuff going on. I'll be at 3 bird festivals this year. I'll be at Taking Flight Festival in the Catskills. That's being offered through the Catskill Center in New York. And then the Boreal Bird Festival, which is a little bit further north. So that's the Adirondack Boreal Bird Festival. That one's so the first one's in May. Boreal Bird Festival is the second week in June. And I think the first week in June, I'm going to be at the Acadia Birding Festival in Maine, which I'm so thrilled to be joining Vortex Optics. And I'll be one of the guides for some of the trips there. So if you are out and about at different bird festivals this year, I hope you come and join me. In New York, I'll be offering some slow birding workshops, as well as some accessible workshops based on Birdability's work, looking at how can we make birding more inclusive. So you guys, thank you all so much for joining me today. Take these little activities, practice them, tell me how they go for you. I can't wait to hear your stories and see you again next month. Take care, everyone. Have a great weekend.